Ladies and gentlemen, what we're about to show you is beyond shocking. USAID, an agency that was supposed to help people around the world, has been exposed as nothing more than a massive money laundering operation. We have exclusive documents showing how they funneled billions of your tax dollars into a web of fake organizations, shell companies, and radical political agendas. They paid journalists, funded covert operations, and even tried to impeach a sitting president. But tonight we are blowing this whole thing wide open, and the numbers are staggering. The implications are massive, and the people involved, let's just say very powerful people, are lawyering up right now. While the deep state was busy building their corrupt empire through USAID, real Americans are building something else, their strength. And just like President Trump is rebuilding our government's integrity, you need to rebuild your body's strength. That's why I trust the clean premium protein at buildwithgary.com. Look at these guns, right? They tell the story. Unlike USAID's dirty money, this protein is pure, clean, and actually delivers results. So order now and get a free bag of grass-fed protein powder during our special promotion. Fight back against corruption by building your strength at buildwithgary.com. You will find it linked in the description below. Okay, are you guys ready for a shocker? Yeah, I put them on as a shocker. Man, I love my blue blockers. Sorry, I don't know why I did that, but that commercial will never leave me. The Tides Foundation, tied to George Soros, Gunter Eagleman posting this, quote tweeting John Lefevre just 3 hours ago. You paid for this. USAID funneled $27 million to Black Lives Matter through the Tides Foundation. Here is an iconic photograph from the destruction at one of the BLM rallies. Your tax dollars helped pay for that. And we have this, real questions being asked. Now, I want to point out, I believe that this question was pointed at the previous administration, and they were asking about USAID. And this is the previous administration. Now listen to just how terrified they are at answering the question, because they know what USAID really is. And at least Sam Husseini had the balls to ask the question back then. Well, now we're finally seeing what's going on. The curtain is being pulled back, but I want you to listen carefully to this moment.
I'm happy to.
How much money went from USAID to the work at Wuhan and to their collaborator, Ralph Barrick, at the University of North Carolina, to collect and make coronaviruses that are weaponized, that are more deadly?
So I, first of all, reject the implicit accusation in that question, and I do not have at my finger. I do not have at my fingertips the particular details of USAID.
Are you saying for certain? Are you saying for certain that no USAID money went to the Wuhan Institute of Virology?
Question. Go ahead.
No, please tell me. Are you stating that no USAID money went?
I am happy to take questions from those in this audience. I'm happy to answer them. I appreciate that they treat every person in this room, including myself, respectfully. I called on you. I'm now calling on someone else. Go ahead.
Me respectfully, please tell me, what are you denying?
Go ahead.
What is your denial? It's a non-denial denial.
Do you see how defensive they are when a question was raised like that? Well, now we're finding out that they did, in fact, fund the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The curtain is pulled back for all to see. Listen to this. This was just published 6 hours ago. USAID paid Hollywood stars to travel to Ukraine. Arch Kennedy posting this allegation that Jean-Claude Van Damme, $1.5 million, Ben Stiller, $4 million, Sean Penn, $5 million, Orlando Bloom, $8 million, Angelina Jolie, $20 million. Now, these are allegations that are being made here. I want to make it clear. So that's what we're learning. E-News. This is a still shot from E-News, $20 million. Man, that's pretty damning. Here we have two. Okay, this is really interesting because this was, as we're learning all these things about USAID, people have been sounding the alarm about this organization for the longest time. One of those people, this was posted by the Vigilant Fox August 14th of 2023. It is an interview with RFK Jr. and Tucker Carlson. Listen carefully to RFK break it down about how USAID covertly funded the unrest in Ukraine.
It has overthrown Victorian 2014. There are riots it's called the Maidan Rebellion in Ukraine, which we're not told that we are financing those riots. The newspapers never told us, our government never told us. USAID, which is the CIA front, put $5 billion into funding those riots. Those riots lead to a coup d'etat against the first democratically elected government of the Ukraine. It was a government that refused to choose sides and to say, we're going to be on the side of the West. So we wanted them out. A month before that government is overthrown, Victoria Nuland, who's the part of the centerpiece of the neocon ideology and who is now a high-level official in the State Department, has a secret call with the U.S. ambassador, which is tape recorded and is now public, which anybody can go and look up, where she is picking the new cabinet for the Ukraine, which is which is a U.S. Western cabinet. So they're picking the new government a month before the old government is overthrown.
Is that how democracy? Is that democracy when Victoria Nuland picks her government?
Well, that's the point. Is USAID doesn't really do. And the CIA don't do democracy. The CIA has overthrown, I think, 83 governments between 1947 and 1997. That's a third of the governments on Earth, and most of them were democracies. Oh, it doesn't do democracy. It does coup d'etats.
Wow. So that was what they were talking about back in August of 2023. Vigilant Fox posting that. Arch Kennedy also posting this. This is why the elites in both parties fear and dislike Trump. Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social. Looks like billions of dollars have been stolen at USAID and other agencies, much of it going to the fake news media as a payoff for creating good stories about the Democrats' left-wing rag known as Politico. Seems to have received $8 million. Did the New York Times receive money? Who else did? This could be the biggest scandal of them all. Perhaps the biggest in the history. Democrats can't hide from this one. Too big, too dirty. Oh, do you see what's happening here? We're finding out where all the money is going. And USAID right at the heart of it all. Here, this was 24 hours ago. Representative Nancy Mace. Listen to what she has to say about USAID.
USAID awarded $2 million to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming health care in Guatemala. So to each of you this morning, does this advance the interests of American citizens paying for trannies in Guatemala to the tune of $2 million? Yes or no? Governor?
I have no position.
Of course you don't. Okay, USAID awarded over $750,000 to fund alleviating loneliness among migrant garment workers in India. Does this advance America's interests, Governor?
No.
No. I have no position.
USAID awarded $1.5 million for providing a gender-sensitive response to migration at the Venezuelan border. Does this advance America's interests, Governor?
No.
No. I have no position.
Does this advance the interests? Okay, so USAID awarded $4.3 million on October 1st, 2023 to a group to fund comprehensive health services for men having sex with other men in South Africa. Does this advance the interests of American citizens, Governor?
No.
No. I have no position.
I bet you don't. Okay. USAID awarded $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities by promoting economic empowerment and opportunity for LGBTQI plus people in Serbia. Does this advance America's interests?
No.
No. Nope.
You have no idea, right? Okay.
Oh, man, Nancy Mace just ripping the curtain right down in that committee. Here is, we got some Joe Rogan and Brett Weinstein on the USAID revelations. We were always wondering, why is the national debt so high? Why is our deficit so insane? Well, this is it.
Elon's this USAID thing that's going on. You know, Mike Benz has been on that like a pit bull, and I've been following him on X, and he's going to come back on here and kind of explain everything. But he explained it the last time he was here, and I don't think I really grasped it until Elon's 6 wizards. He brought in some young wizards to go in there and go over the books, and they are just finding crazy shit. It's great, and it's so interesting. I was listening to a left-wing podcast today. I like to mix it up. You know, I listen to all kinds of different stuff, and it was like I was listening to a different world. Like, they weren't even talking about all of this corruption and all this obvious buying of influence. Instead, they were talking about aid overseas and how people are going to starve. And like,
it's mind-boggling, and there's also, I have to say, I'm upset at the general pattern of a failure to recognize how right those of us who hypothesized that there was a racket that had overtaken our entire governance structure. We turn out to be absolutely right about this, and no one's going to mention it. That's mind-blowing.
It's very strange that the media is ignoring it, especially the left-wing media. It's just too big of a win for the right. And so they're just ignoring it. And then they're just highlighting the good things that USA did, which I'm sure that probably did. Probably had to do some good things to like at least justify its existence.
As a cover story, I'm not even sure. Maybe it doesn't change anything. Obviously, this was a mechanism used to funnel money to all sorts of things that we didn't vote on, that don't make sense in light of our constitutional structure. And I obviously have concerns like everybody else about where this train takes us, but seeing that structure broken up it's a huge relief.
Well, you know what? I am on that train all the way to the station, baby. Let's go. Here we have Trump. Mila Joy posting this 24 hours ago. Trump called for an investigation to find out who in the government has been getting kickbacks from USAID. For instance, AOC has been in Congress for 6 years. She makes $174,000 a year, and she's worth $30 million. The only way that happens is by kickbacks. Now, there's a reader note on this. As of her financial disclosure in 2023, AOC has a net worth of at most $45,000. They're calling this a baseless claim that her net worth is $29 million or $30 million in order to imply wrongdoing has been made before on social media and repeatedly debunked. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. 6,000, Clayton Morris posting this, 6,000 journalists and 700 newsrooms received USAID money. It's a wonder all of them parrot the same news. You've seen this before.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming.
You hear this? I mean, just this clip alone, they're pushing back against fake news being spread on social media, yet they're all parroting the exact same thing because they're the ones parroting all the fake news. And then USAID sending them all kinds of money. Here we have, okay, check this out. Buckle up, friends. Here it is. Dom Lucier, exclusive. recovered footage of the Iraq Sesame Street show. I knew this was going to surface. When we heard about it, somebody would dig it up. Here it is, the Iraq Sesame Street show that USAID paid $20 million for. Okay.
نعمان هل أنت في الداخل؟ يمكنك الخروج الآن فقط. يا سلام!
Yeah, so how does that advance American interests? I don't know. Here's Donald Trump Jr. just 10 hours ago. USAID is nothing more than a corrupt slush fund for Democrats. No more. And he is posting a screenshot of his father's post that we just read to you on Truth Social. Here's another one. Elon Musk just 9 hours ago. Why should American taxpayer dollars fund the British Broadcasting Corporation? Elon Musk calling it insane, and I agree. Mario Naval pointing out the BBC is unhappy about U.S. government funding getting cut. Our statement on USAID funding. Mario Naval says the BBC, through its international charity arm, BBC Media Action, has expressed dissatisfaction by the U.S. government to pause funding. The impact of this pause, which affected approximately 8% of their income for the fiscal year 23-24, left them quite baffled. Meanwhile, U.S. citizens are baffled themselves. Wait, we were paying for the BBC? Yeah, who knew? Well, now we know. This is just amazing. All these things we're discovering now that Donald Trump is back in power. Elon Musk pulling the curtain back. I mean, these stories are going to continue. Dan Bongino, 12 hours ago, make no mistake, the Dems are freaking out over Elon and the USAID racket because this has been a blank checkbook for them for years to fund far-left ideological groups and agendas. They'll die on this hill because everything the left does is a scam, a lie, and a grift. Nothing is genuine. Nothing. Trump and Elon are opening the far-left kimono, and people are horrified at what they are seeing. Here is Caroline Levitt adding to the list, the long list of waste that's been found at USAID. Here she is.
Combat disinformation. And I would just say a strong message to Democrats who are out there pretending to be outraged about the long list of crap that this administration is cutting, federal waste and funding, like $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala, $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt, $20 million on a new Sesame Street show in Iraq, $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. I could go on, and I'm happy to provide this list to every single one of you. Democrats are outraged that the American people want to be, they want their taxpayers going to good uses, not stuff like this. But then they're very quiet about the fact that there are still North Carolinians and people in California who have lost everything. And in the last 4 years, this federal government did nothing to help them. This president will continue to put Americans first. And I think the successes of this week so far speak to that. And it's only Wednesday. So
well, let's keep going, baby. Let's keep this train rolling along. Okay, we are not done yet. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so this here's more from Joe Rogan breaking down some of the expenses. Okay, let's listen.
20 million. Read off some of the things that this guy Kanakota the Great on Twitter listed, and this is off the Jesse Watters show. USAID. $20 million for Iraqi Sesame Street, $2 million for Moroccan pottery classes, $11 million to tell Vietnam to stop burning trash, $27 million to give gift bags to illegals, $27 million. $330 million to help Afghanis grow crops. Crops. I wonder what those crops are. What's their biggest crop, Brett?
It's going to be the poppy seeds for bagels, I'm thinking.
$200 million on an unused Afghani dam, $250 million on an unused Afghani road. This is wild.
Are you guys pulling your hair out yet? I just can't believe. I mean, we always knew there was just crazy spending going on in government, but now we see it in black and white. Elon Musk, 24 hours ago, it's not just Politico. The Associated Press has been raking in millions of dollars in government money for years. Elon Musk says, not for long. This is obviously a huge waste of taxpayer money. And he was, quote, tweeting Kyle Becker. Here are the receipts, folks. The Associated Press right there. Total awarded amount, $619,000 from USAID. Holy cow. The receipts tell the story, and the American people are finally seeing it. Okay, here's more. This is from WikiLeaks. USAID funding over 6,200 journalists across 707 media outlets, 279 media NGOs, including 9 out of 10 media outlets in Ukraine. Wow. Wow. The checkbook has been found. This guy calls it the devil's checkbook. Jesse James, quote, tweeting Donald Trump. Here we have now Democrats saying the quiet part out loud and admitting to crimes.
Freedom fighters.
Want to see a Democrat say the quiet part out loud about USAID and admit they were conducting illegal activity?
It supports freedom fighters everywhere in this world.
That is a crime. That is absolutely a fucking crime. It's also not something USAID is authorized to do. They are not authorized to fund opposition to other nations. In fact, nobody is, because it's fucking illegal. Now, it's something we get accused of doing all the time, and the CIA pretends we don't, but we do. At least the CIA pretends we don't do that. They don't stand out there and give a speech and talk to the people and say, hey, they're stopping us from doing this illegal thing. That alone is good enough reason to shut down USAID. Thank you for saying the quiet part out loud, Senator.
That is the older millennial. I love that guy. He's always got a good take. Okay, here we have, this is Senator Cynthia Loomis, Town Hall, 7 hours ago, posting that she's exposing the rot, waste, and abuse that has completely infected USAID grants.
And here are some of the ways the last administration have wasted your money. More than $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. And just whose disinformation is it? I think that's probably in the eye of the beholder. $20 million for a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. $25 million for Deloitte to promote green transportation in the country of Georgia. Nearly $8 million to teach Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid, quote, binary gendered language. Binary gendered language in Sri Lanka? You've got to be kidding me. $5 million to EcoHealth Alliance, one of the key NGOs, non-government organizations, funding bat virus research at the Wuhan lab. $20 million for a group related, by the way, to a key player in the Russiagate impeachment hoax. $1.5 million to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem. $1.5 million on DEI programs in Serbia. Diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in Serbia. Mr. President, I could probably go on for another hour. Here are some of the ways.
Oh, man, there's more. There is even more. We've got this. Michael Schellenberger telling Jesse Waters that USAID and the CIA are linked to Donald Trump's impeachment.
Straight Trump. You have this new piece on Substack that the USAID and the CIA helped orchestrate Trump's impeachment.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, it's a crazy story. I mean, you might forget that, the House of Representatives impeached President Trump in December of 2019. Many people may not remember that it was a CIA analyst who was left over from the Obama White House who wrote the memo that led to the impeachment. It was all based on hearsay. The person had not actually been in the room with Trump. Nonetheless, this memo that he wrote relied heavily on a report done by an organization funded by USAID. In fact, its initial founding funding, I mean, now it's tens of millions of dollars, had gone into this group called the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, a name that's not very memorable, OCCRP, but it was basically created as an extension of the State Department and then of USAID. And as you know, Jesse, this is very serious to be involved in an effort to do regime change at home, as we've been discovering as the files have come out with what Elon Musk has been doing. We know that USAID was really about regime change abroad. It was a kind of public-facing part, regime change operation like CIA, but not covert, more overt. Well, now you see a similar blowback, just like they did censorship abroad and brought censorship tools back home. They were doing this sort of thing abroad, creating a predicate essentially for Trump's impeachment. So I think it's just one of many revelations that we'll see coming out in the next few weeks.
USAID was involved in regime change abroad and here at home. Oh, my goodness. Very interesting. If you want to read.
Yeah. Oh, I think we've got we just uncovered some more footage from Sesame Street in Iraq. Oh my goodness. That was posted by Libs of TikTok just 22 hours ago. Walter Kurt. Oh my goodness. It was the one who posted it originally. Holy cow. Oh, cat turd posted. I'm still in shock. Is that even real? 7 hours ago, Democrats will all vote no on eliminating their criminal tax thief scam. Legislation has been proposed to eliminate the USAID. Let's go. We're also finding out this. A revelation has come forward. A Wiccan outlaw posting that Chelsea Clinton received $84 million of our tax dollars laundered to her via USAID, asking the question, how much did Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation get? Yeah, that is insane. And Benny Johnson posting this. This is the biggest scandal in news media history. No employees at Politico got paid yesterday. First time ever the company missed a pay period. This is a crisis. And now we learn Politico, which is a news company, which spent the last 10 years trying to destroy the MAGA movement, was being massively funded by USAID. Trump and Elon deleted their funding. Now Politico will go out of business. The corruption is endless. Good riddance. Holy cow. Politico. Here are the receipts, folks. $8.2 million. It is now laid bare for all to see, my friends. Oh, and of course, we have this from our favorite Senator Kennedy, pure gold.
In Washington. I've been in the Senate for 8 years. In dog years, that's 56 years. Common sense is illegal in Washington. They can't get their mind around doing anything other than the Washington way. Some of them, particularly in the media, they go almost catatonic. Or the exact opposite, they foam at the mouth, and they really get upset. They can make a Valium nervous. It's like the world, we're not doing things the way we've always done them, and the world's going to spin off its axis.
Senator Kennedy on the Senate floor, February 5th, 2025. We have this too, a woman claiming she went touring in Egypt And many things that were sponsored by USAID were missing. Statues, monuments that we paid for, stolen. Sites that we paid for in a decrepit condition.
Secretary said. So Elon Musk and Donald Trump are shutting down USAID, and boy, do I have a story for you. Okay, so again, you know, keep in mind that I used to be at some point a supporter of these type of programs. I was like, yeah, why not? Like, U.S. should be supporting democratic cultural initiatives that help a country progress. And in part of that is obviously, as the White House secretary said yesterday, that includes cultural programs. On the surface, yeah, why would we not want to support a country allowing women to work? And so part of this, like she said yesterday, are a lot of cultural programs. USAID is not just about food, shelter, and whatever. It's also a lot of it is stuff like she mentioned yesterday, and a lot of it is crap, frankly. So let's get to the story. Okay, so I'm in Egypt on a solo trip. Okay, I love Egyptian history so much. I was like, you know what? I was in the region. I'm going to go to Egypt and I'm going to experience it. I get a day tour and I'm like, okay, can you please take me around to the most amazing sites? Guys, the first site we go to, many things are stolen. They're in the most decrepit condition I have seen things in. It was genuinely one of the saddest things I've ever seen, especially because I have so much love for Egyptian history that I was like, wow, this is so sad. Things had dust. They were just in the worst shape ever. Anyways, every time we go to a site, we see a lot of signs like sponsored and funded by USAID. Sponsored and funded by USAID. The crazy thing is a lot of these things are missing. One site we go to, an entire statue, like full-blown statue, is missing. And on the bottom, there's a plaque funded by USAID. And so finally, I turned to the tour guide and I'm like, hey, where are these things? Like, we've been to like 2, 3, 4 sites now, and every site we go to, there's things missing. And it says funded by USAID. Like, where's the stuff? And she looks at me and she's like, well, I mean, And I'm like, no, I don't know. And she's like, well, it's gone for repairs. And I'm like, what? And it turns out a lot of these things are just basically gone. We have no idea, as U.S. taxpayers who funded this, where are they?
But we're getting to the bottom of it all. It's all coming out. Here is 24 hours ago, Representative Anna Paulina Luna on Benny Johnson's show saying Elon's life is in danger.
Do you think that Elon Musk's life is in danger, in jeopardy? Should Elon Musk get Secret Service protection?
I think that he has probably security in place. I mean, you don't get to that position with being stupid. So I definitely think that he's probably taking the necessary steps. But again, people, it might be on X and it might seem like something like maybe just a tweet, a post. But when you're putting out that type of information that's literally blowing the lid off of, again, I would say just a rotten to the core money laundering operation that's impacted and influenced nations falling. I think that's pretty, you have to have a big set of gall to do that. So,
yep. Do you think that Elon Musk's life is?
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Here we have Brigitte Gabriel posting this from CNN. Brilliant analysis on how TDS has driven the left to insanity. Here's Scott Jennings, one of our favorite CNN analysts. Like, I think really the only one.
We're on he's describing what is currently the dumbest strategy in politics, which is Democrats taking the 20% side of every 80-20 issue in America. USAID, people want this pared down. They want it streamlined. They want to know where the money is going. Democrats have a meltdown. Today, Donald Trump signs executive order on keeping boys out of girls' sports. Democrats take the 20 side of that issue as well. All these issues, this is like Trump's superpower, finding a bunch of 80-20 issues, getting on the 80, and everybody who's sort of reflexively against him gets on the 20. And now the Democratic Party has like a 31% approval rating. This is why. I don't know. He's just...
Yeah, maybe it's time to get on the right side of history. Wouldn't you say? Mm-hmm. Because we certainly do not want to keep funding this kind of stuff. So the USAID scandal that we've uncovered tonight goes deeper than anyone imagined. 6,000 journalists on the payroll, millions funneled through fake charities, gender ideology programs in third world countries. This is not just waste, it's a deliberate attempt to manipulate global politics using your tax dollars. Chelsea Clinton taking home $84 million? That's just scratching the surface. But here is what everybody should be asking themselves tonight. If USAID was able to hide this level of corruption for so long, what other government agencies are running similar schemes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Which agency should Trump and Musk investigate next? How about the IRS? Join the Truth Movement with exclusive Mag Avengers merch at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. It's linked below.